Here you've got a slide of what it can't do, and you've already identified what it can't do. Basically, I'll go really quickly. Network meta-analysis of hazard ratios and other outcomes, that's very much on our to-do list. Nobody's asked about meta-regression. We'd like study-level covariates to, as well, to add in. Quality assessment, yes. Inconsistency models, possibly. Treatment, component models, I'm not going to go through those now. We've got the saved analysis halfway through. At the moment you need to repaste your data or upload, and I've said some other things that you'll no doubt have requested, and we've already had one of those or one or two of those already, so that's great. And at the moment, if you have a UK author of your Cochrane review, feel free to contact the complex review support unit if the app doesn't meet your needs, and that's what we're set up to do, to provide advice on complicated analyses such as network meta-analyses. Just to ask, what's the support for this? Well, our contract runs until March 2021, and then we will cease to exist as the complex review support unit. So I can't say beyond then. There will be. It's not that somebody else is taking over. There will be no complex review support unit. So if you really like the app and you want to badger people and say that's really short-sighted, then I'm not going to stop you. But we have some money and we have time, and we hope to have a good push in the last 12 months or so of the grant to do as much as we can. And indeed, we're going to save some money to make sure there is a small cost for hosting for people using it. We're delighted to say that all our apps are used at the moment, and it increases every month. About 600 hours a month they're being used, and that does cost some money, and we're going to set some money aside to make sure that continues for this foreseeable future. Now, just to finish off, here are a few things that hopefully won't take long to put in and are quite exciting, at least if you're me, they are. So here we go. I was involved with a PhD student called Zui Tan, who did some nice work on nice graphical displays for network meta-analysis, and these were coded in R. They never turn into a full package, but I still think they're probably the best thing out there. Here's an example of one. So it's really a graphical version of what we have there already, and Yichao's already shown us, where we show the results of the network and meta-analysis versus just the direct evidence, have a graphing of the rankings along the leading diagonal, and then the numbers for the credible intervals and the point estimates in the top upper of the diagonal. So you get an awful lot of information about the network meta-analysis in a small space there, and I think it would be nice. These aren't used at all. I don't know anyone that's used them after they've been developed, I think because of the nature of the coding. So we'd like to bring these into the app, and Yichao's hard at work doing a very complicated wiring job of working out the inputs and outputs that are needed to get it in the app. And hopefully we will finish cracking that soon. This is an alternative format for the same thing. If you notice on the previous slide, this matrix grows in 2 dimensions as the number of treatments grow, and it becomes infeasible to see on a screen after a certain type. So we have an alternative view of virtually the same information done in a long format, so it's a list that can go on beyond the page and can be scrolled, and we'll hopefully put this in as well. If we crack one, we'll crack the other. Now, this is my pet project. I haven't touched this for ooh, things are screaming at me. I haven't touched this for a little while, like 2 years, but hopefully where I'm not finding it now. Oof, I had it open. Here we go. Ooh, where's it gone? Oh, here we are. Phew, right. Yichao, can you see that? Can people see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so hopefully everyone can see it. Right, so we're not using graphics anywhere near as much as we should when doing output. Here's a plot of all the information in a 3D object. So we have, if we spin it this way, we get the network plot with all the treatments and the links. But we have a Z-axis now, we have a third axis, and that's saying the effectiveness of the treatment compared to one of the reference treatments. So here we have a 3D object that both defines the network and gives the results of the meta-analysis. And we can do things like show this in the fixed effect versus the random effect. There's all sorts of buttons to press down here. Do put predictive intervals on. I won't go into it all now, we haven't got time. Anyway, just to say that hopefully this bit of work, which is almost there, will get wired into the app. So what the output would actually be a web page that's fully interactive like this. So this isn't what you would just see in the app. This is what you would take away from the app, as in a 3D object that sits on a web page, and you can save the full web page and have it as an extra file with your paper. Ultimately, our papers will be in HTML, and it'll just integrate into it. But for the transition period, this is what I hope to do. So I think this will be an exciting and fun feature that we hope to have sooner rather than later. As I say, hopefully we'll get a complete solution or close to it. There'll always be things that we don't do that people want, but that's the nature of things. We think it's already got good functionality, and we're grateful for feedback. Please, if you've got any final comments or questions, now is the time. And I'll just put up at the end there. There's mine and Yichao's email address. Feel free to contact us if you've got specific queries, either now or later. And there's the web page again for the app. As Yichao showed, you can always type in CRSU apps and get to it. That's how I remember. I don't remember that website.